What's up, wees? Welcome back to Melina, the podcast where we take you down the yellow brick road of anime and have a look at everything it has to offer. As always, today I am joined by... No, as always, I am your host, Rebel Notorious.
Yeah.
Joining me once again today is Shaun.
Are you okay?
I don't know. It's not like I haven't done this introduction recently.
No.
We've still been recording, but for some reason...
We're back in the room, though.
It's so early in the morning, I'm so fucking tired. Anyway... Joining me once again today is Shaun.
Hello.
And Melina.
EP.
Okay.
We're all EP.
We are all EP.
We'll get better.
Yeah. It's funny because, like, this is our first thing in the morning recording session.
No, it's not.
Episode.
No.
Don't spoil the
Shut
magic.
up. Okay, whatever. Moving on. On today's episode, we step on to the stage once again in Oshi Season 2, episodes 1 through 9, or depending on where you're watching it, I don't know, 12 through 20. Series direction is by Daisuke Hiramaki, series composition by Jin Tanaka, music by Takuro Iga, animation introduction by Doga Kobo. Season 2 aired July 3rd, 2024 through October 6th. October 6th.
You got it.
I don't know why my brain is melting right now. October 6th.
Drink more Monster.
2024, with a total of 13 episodes. More staff and episode credits can be found in the link in the description. Both seasons are currently streaming on Netflix in Japanese with English subtitles, or on High Dive with both the original Japanese with subtitles or English dub. Season 1 is also available on home video in the United States. Hopefully something pops up in the UK soon. So yeah.
We're back.
We're back.
We're
we haven't
really
been
back.
in person for 3 months.
I think
Almost
so.
3, yeah.
So yeah, everything's been online,
Oof.
and that's, interesting because listening to it back does pain me a little bit.
Yeah. It's not ideal.
It's not ideal, no. Like, our dynamic's always a bit different, and but like, just for the sake of like not, I don't want to say ruining the schedule, but like, keeping consistent.
Yeah, actually keeping the episodes coming.
Yeah. I wish we could have done Rebuild of Eva in person, but, better that we did something, I think, with over the course of the time we were away, rather than just everyone listening to me and Shaun ramble about the same things over and over again.
How'd you like that Silent Hill video?
Jesus, I keep looking at how long that episode is and thinking it's not that far off of how long the Resident Evil episode is, and there were only 3 games in Silent Hill, and we talked about like fucking 20 of them in Resident Evil.
Yeah, well, I mean, half of that was also just on one game.
Yeah, half of that was me trying to move on and you going, oh wait, another thing.
Yeah.
Well, before that happens to this episode.
Yes.
I want to state, I stuck by it.
So yeah, we're finally covering Oshinoko. Actually, reading that only ended in October, I'm like, man, I feel like we took a while to get to this, but like, not really. Not if it only ended.
We also did keep
ago.
saying that, like, as it was going on, we got to get that when we can. We're like, when we're able to.
Yeah.
We were excited to do it.
Oh, for sure.
How much we love season 1.
Mm-hmm.
We actually rewatched season 1 as well.
Did you?
Yeah, no, I did not rewatch season 1.
I decided, like, because I finished the manga, I was like, I kind of only have like a vague recollection of what happened in season 1, so I ended up watching through like season 1 just to get a refresh on it for going into season 2, and like I could have not done that actually, because I'm like, oh yeah, season 2 is so much of its own storyline.
Oh, absolutely, I can imagine.
But yeah,
I'm happy I did, because it helped me like get reintroduced with like a refamiliarized with a few characters, specifically oh god, here comes the pronunciation thing. Akane. Getting like refamiliar with her specifically, I think was a good benefit for me, because I almost forgot she was there.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Almost.
I get it. She is like a bit shy, forgettable.
Yeah.
I mean in
she has a
season 1,
massive
that's her whole arc.
Character,
yeah. Season 2, she's more center stage.
Oh, absolutely.
She feels more like an actual full character.
Yeah.
Season 2, which I really liked. She's actually become like one of my favorites of the season, I will say.
This is one of the interesting things, not to spoil anything that comes later, but like it's interesting how many characters get introduced across the course of the story, and how many of them just get forgotten at some point later.
Damn.
Oh, neat.
Akane's not one of them. I do want to say Akane sticks around throughout the course of the
Why do I
rest.
have this strange feeling about Melt?
Yeah, I don't think Melt ever comes up again
Damn.
after this.
They gave him such like a good hook.
Melt's the
Purple
bad
haircut.
actor.
Oh, bad actor guy.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
His-
Who we
hi-
saw in season 1.
Yes,
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
in Sweet Today with Kana. He was a terrible actor.
Hey,
But
he's
pretty
aware
boy.
of that now.
He looks good, I guess.
It's hard to tell in an animated format.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they all look good. Like that's
Yeah.
sort of the problem. There are no ugly characters in this show except the old men.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, so you know it's hard to judge.
Yeah. And even then, like the old men, it's like you look significantly more attractive than the old men in Japan. Like the actual old actors. Like, have you looked at Takeshi Kitano beat Takeshi in the eyes recently? That man is not attractive.
Crusty.
Fantastic actor. Weird looking dude.
Welcome back to us roasting. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. This is what we need to be in
Yeah.
person for.
yeah.
This is the
Ugly.
dynamic we missed.
God.
Crusty bastard.
Okay, first order of business. Opening song.
Not as good as
Yeah,
Not
the
as
first
good.
I was
one.
gonna start that off.
Disappointing.
Yeah, that
My
was
God.
rewatching season 1. I was like, man, this
There's a
opening is
bop.
such a banger, and I was like, man, season 2 is gonna let me down so bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think the only way to do it and to be better was to use the original song
Yeah,
and maybe build on it, remix something,
yeah.
but to just do something entirely different.
Unfortunately, that's just how it works.
Yeah.
It's
The-
not terrible, I want to
No.
say. It's,
No.
it's perfectly fine. I still have it in my head a little bit,
Mm.
like right now, just like throughout this morning, and it's fine. It's just not as much of a fucking banger.
Yeah. I think the only time we'll hear Idol again is probably at the end of the whole show. That's sort of like the common architecture of anime when it comes to that, is the first opening will probably end up being the last song we hear when everything comes to a close type
Yeah.
thing. But yeah, no, the opening's kind of
it's not the
boring.
It's fine,
It's
which is a
fine.
problem.
Yeah.
Like, what you want, I feel like, from your opening is for someone to be like, I'm not skipping this.
Yeah.
And this, like, after 2 times, I was like, yeah, I'm not.
I didn't skip it, but only because I just use like the opening and ending sections to like pull out my phone and check.
I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I will say the ED is really good.
Oh, the ending's really good. Yeah, for sure. I like it as much as the first one. It's more stylistically a song I like.
I love the opening of it especially
Oh,
when you
yeah.
can hear near the end of the episode. It's like fuck yeah.
That's something I really like about Oshi no Ko, because not a lot of anime do it. Is like the beginning of the ending actually starts somewhere under the episode, and so like you kind of know
It's got
oh things are coming to an end, but also they usually build it into the moment as well. Like the moment where I realized our original episode that we were going to end the session on was not a good episode to end the session
Yeah.
on.
Because originally we were gonna stop at episode 19.
Yes. And like that big build up of like Aqua's, emotional acting, it's perfectly executed with the ending coming underneath of that. Would have been a terrible place for this episode to stop.
I would have begged us to go on for
Yeah.
that extra
Yeah.
episode if you guys hadn't already decided.
You had watched everything by that point, right?
Yeah.
Why didn't you bring it up?
I just thought, well, strange, but you know better.
You put a
You
lot
can
of trust.
challenge me.
You put a lot of trust in Michael.
No, I just
I get things wrong a lot.
no, but I assumed like, oh, the next episode is gonna be like the start of a thing and the end of a thing, so it'll be kind of weird. So I was like, I'll just trust them.
I would have told you. If you hadn't said already, I would have told you.
Yeah, it's such a terrible place to end because it's like the emotional like height of the climax
Yeah.
of that arc. It would be very weird for the next episode to just stop that and be the next arc.
I feel like all of us
Yeah.
would have had immense entertainment blue balls.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, we'll get to like the cliffhanger
Yes.
that we ended on instead
Oh, yeah,
later,
yeah.
Yeah.
because that is a better routine.
Yes. Yeah. That's a better place to end off on.
Yeah.
I really like this arc. I think this still stands as like one of my favorite arcs of the whole series. Because if you don't know, the manga that this is based on by Aga Akasaka and Mengo Yukoyari, it's over and done with. It's finished. It's done. It ended shortly before I think season 2 started, or shortly during or after. It ended recently, sometime within the last year.
I remember you finishing it recently. So
I got to a point where it went on a break, and then I had been reading it as it was coming out, and it took a break, and I didn't pick it back up after the break, which I've done so many times. I don't know how many chapters of Blue Exorcist I have to read now, because it's been a couple of years.
Don't think about it.
So I had like 40 or so chapters left, and it's done. That's all I'll say, because I don't want to spoil anything.
No, I don't want to. I don't want it to be spoiled. Usually I'm someone who's like, I don't care for spoilers, but now I'm like, don't tell me.
I think it's going to be interesting how they'll tackle season 3, if only in the sense of season 1 was 11 episodes, technically 12 if you take the runtime of episode 1 into account. Season 2 is 13 episodes. With what's left, they kind of have to do like either 2 more seasons, which may run into the problem of dragging stuff out, or 1 more season of like an odd like episode count, kind of like the Attack on Titan thing where they did like 16 episodes in 1 season just to cover an arc, basically. But this is season 2.
Just focus on that right now. We are in the stage play, which I genuinely got a little bit engrossed in.
The stage play, this did a lot better than the manga, because like it really managed to elevate the whole stage play aspect of it, because like you got to see stuff moving, you got to get the idea of like a 2.5D stage where everything moves and it's got that 3D element to it, and like that's why I was so excited for season 2, because like I knew this was going to be the arc it was covering, and I was genuinely interested to see how that was going to work. Is this a real thing in Japan? I want to go. I want to see one.
Same.
I don't care what it's about. I just want to see it.
I'll watch the ping pong one.
The ping pong one is funny because I'm like, that's actually like an anime.
I figured, like, I think I've heard of like volleyball, ping pong. There's ones for everything.
The interesting thing is, that's clearly like a play on like the sports shonen of like slam dunk, haikyuu, slam dunk being basketball, haikyuu being volleyball, free as a swimming anime. And then there's like ping pong the animation, which is like a very artistic take on the idea. And I'm like, ping pong's an interesting choice.
It's such a mix of mediums as well.
Yes.
That's why I'm so, like, I'm interested in the whole 2.5, because it is, like, you know, I don't know if general theater people would like it, because they're like, oh, no, this is not what you want from theater. It's basically you're putting on a movie.
Yes.
You're playing out a movie.
I mean, they're doing wire work.
Yeah, they're doing, and like, I don't know if it's a pet peeve that I had like during it, where I was like, let's not ad-lib when we have fucking swords in our hands, guys. I don't think this is the moment.
But this is a very interesting thing about, and I don't know if this extends to other aspects of like Japanese media, but like I certainly know that in anime, like dubbing, the voices are usually recorded like prior to the animation being complete, so they've either got animatics or they've got storyboards or something. And one interesting thing I remember finding out is that this came from like an interview talking about the process of like dubbing into English, and how one ADR director decided to bring over a thing from Japan, which was that sometimes in the script it'll just have like a part for the VA to insert something. To bring in, like, you know, show something of the character, but there's no direct line, just ad-lib it, come up with it, whatever. And they put that into the English dub, and all the voice actors went, what the fuck? No.
What do you want me to say?
What do you want me to do?
Just, you know, say something for your character.
I'm Goku.
What's up, you?
I want to fight.
I'm here to chew ass and wait. I'm here to kick gum and chew ass, and I'm all out of gum.
You're still chewing ass.
You're still chewing ass. That's the point.
The original joke quote is, "I'm all out of ass."
That's okay. Right. Dun, dun, dun.
You're gonna
Anyway.
fuck up right.
Yeah.
So Tokyo Blade, huh?
I wish this were a real manga.
Same.
If only because one of the manga that inspires it is written by a pedophile.
Oh.
Well, that's uncomfortable.
Yeah, now I don't
Say
want to
Drake.
talk about it anymore.
Timely.
Well, I feel less bad saying this because I couldn't give a shit about Tokyo Blade's story.
Mm.
We had this like little talk on the
Yeah.
train where
Yeah.
I said to you, I ended up being a little engrossed, and then you said I did not give a fuck.
No, they were like trying to do this whole thing where it was like, and then the princess and the story. It's like, you don't need to lore dump on me because
Yeah.
I don't give a single shit about the story.
I do.
Like, you know, I love the whole adaptation thing where they had the conflict between the writers, thought was very interesting. And then, you know, them showcasing their skill, fine, that was nice touch. But then at some points they were like, no, we're just going to show you pieces of like Tokyo Blade. I'm like, and that's not going to add to the story. We're just watching Tokyo Blade. I'm like, yeah.
But I think without that, it wouldn't feel complete.
Yeah, I feel like I'd be missing out on a lot of like stuff if you didn't include like the actual play, at least parts of it, because that's basically that's what they've been building up to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think having parts of it is fine, but there were moments of it where it felt like you're just trying to round out a story that's a story within a story, and we don't need it.
I mean, I kind of get it, but at the same time, I kind of see it as like, if during the end of season 1, when they're doing all that training for like the idol show,
Yeah.
if they just didn't show the idol performance.
Yeah.
No, because I think that's different in a way, because that's just one performance. This is a whole fucking play with like 10, 12 characters.
Yeah.
They do see
That they're
parts
like,
of each like
yes,
act.
this character, I'm like, I don't fucking know you. There's
Yeah.
no effort. You're just the guy that stands in the corner sometimes. The buff, beefy guy. I don't know who you are.
Wait,
Oh,
who's
yeah,
the buff beefy guy?
I remember buff
Oh,
beefy guy.
him,
Beefy guy.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
So I don't
Did we
know.
ever get his name?
No,
Probably.
I think so when everybody was introduced, but everybody was introduced at the same time during like the first
Yeah.
episode of this season. I was like, oh, I can't keep up.
Yeah.
Aqua.
It's
Aqua, Akane, Kana,
Done.
where the fuck's Ruby?
Melt for some reason. The actual Melt in the room.
Who named you that? It's funny you mentioned buff guy. I keep thinking of like the two other girls like that are in the.
Oh, the blonde platinum haired one
Yeah.
and the other one.
Yeah, I was like, you were getting a lot of moments with you two. I don't know your fucking names.
The thing is,
Yeah.
we get a lot of moments of them just interjecting, and I'm like, why are you talking?
Shut the fuck up.
I don't know you.
It's like, I didn't know you were here. For one, why are you stretching? You're stretching
Look-
every single time I see you. What the fuck are you doing?
If your names don't contain ak or ka in any part, get out. I don't care.
Yeah, I did like seeing all the rehearsals and stuff, because that to me really paints the picture of, you know, theater. It takes so much time rehearsing.
But they do this in like 10 days.
10 days.
Yeah.
Full on sword choreo.
Yeah.
Wire work. It's kind of where they lost me a little. Gotta be honest.
No. You don't understand. They're just that good.
And
Yeah.
Melt learns how to do like a whole like sequence of, he drops his sword, he goes back in for it, he kicks it up with his feet, grabs
Yep.
it, throws it, catches it, twirls it, and then goes back into the action. And I'm like, man,
Built different.
I don't think. No, he's not built different. He's actively built worse as an actor. Like, that's
No,
the
but like
point.
here, he's built different.
Because I would have liked to see a few sequences of them, you know, working on their fight choreography. Because
Yeah.
we get a lot of them, you know, rehearsing their acting, the more emotional scenes, understandable. I would have loved to see them drop some knives.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they really imply, of course, they're not real knives. Know that on stage, whatever. But still, I don't think you should ad-lib with fucking fake knives. Because you're just a step away from just accidentally schwacking someone
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
face with them.
Because, like, we see more scenes of them in, like, a soundproof rehearsal room.
Yes.
with like rolled up scripts as weapons.
Yeah.
Suddenly Kana has like
Two knives.
Two knives.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere. No one else has any blades at that point, just her. And I'm like, does she bring them from home?
Yeah, it's like, is that her?
Does she just have them?
It's like, no, I got those guys.
Would it really be unbelievable?
Yeah,
Yeah,
well.
the problem is no.
And then like we see like one scene of them like near the stage rehearsing, and I'm like, and then suddenly the next episode is like the show.
Yeah, because I think it would have been so much fun to see the dress rehearsal and see things go wrong.
Yeah.
Because then you have more of a payoff in like the actual show. It's like, finally, I did it. I nailed it.
Yeah.
And even though we have the moment of Aqua nailing his like emotional moment there, I feel like we needed for a few characters to have choreography or just emotional moments that weren't hitting in dress.
Yeah.
And for them to finally do it.
I think it just comes down to like they focus on different like conflicts.
Oh yeah.
And instead of like that sort of thing where like compared to the actual story that we end up following, that sort of stuff's kind of mundane. Because like you got the whole conflict between Akibo, the writer of Tokyo Blade, and Gao,
I think Gao,
the writer of the play, and like that whole conflict, and then
which I love that conflict.
yes, that's great because that's real.
That shit's so fucking real.
Yeah.
Trying to like collaborate as writer is the worst thing.
Also, no offense to most manga writers, like just stay out of it. Like
yeah, like with adaptation, I feel like all I know is you have to kind of give up your thing.
Yeah.
And as a writer, you have to say you're not gonna do everything. The whole story will not be there.
Yeah.
You're gonna miss elements because it just doesn't translate well. And for her to just be like, all of this is wrong and I can do it better.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I was with you.
And even when people are like, you don't understand the medium this is being adapted into, she's just like, I am a god. No.
It's my story.
Don't you get it? I made one manga and it's been lauded as a genius. I am a genius.
Yeah, but you know, sadly that's kind of a problem within the manga industry, I guess.
feel like any industry, even like
for sure.
prose writers would be the same, I think.
Yeah.
Where I think you just need to give up the rights.
Well, you know,
You could give
someone
comments.
is still writing a thing she wrote
Yeah.
once.
She's just making herself a horrible person to work with. Which in most industries is a big fucking no-no.
You know, the mold got her.
Yeah. God. I mean, I like her
I'm
episode.
gonna throw up
where
in my mouth if we keep talking about this.
I like her episode where we see how hard she works.
Yes.
I think that's
Again,
really
that's
nice.
a sad little insight into the very real manga industry, especially like weekly
because that's insane.
publication. It's something I could never fathom, and I especially like I read One Piece, and like there's a thing with manga where you guys haven't really read any, so it's hard to kind of I guess explain this in a way that you could probably visualize within your head. Is like there's different art. There's obviously different art styles.
Of course.
That's always the thing. But there's different approaches to manga where on one side you have the maximalist, I'm going to put the highest amount of detail into this as possible, and then you've got minimalist, where I'm going to convey what I need to convey.
And that's all you're getting.
And that's all you're getting. Maximalist artists I can think of are Kentaro Miura, R.I.P., who wrote Berserk, who has fantastically detailed artwork. However, at the same time, he also does utilize minimalism in that his artwork is highly detailed, but he also has a great sense of negative space. Like that's a huge part of his artwork.
Yeah.
Then you got Ichiro Oda, who writes One Piece, insanely detailed artwork to the point where I can never fathom entirely what's always happening. And then you've got Tsutomu Nihei, who wrote Blam and Knights of Sidonia. He does fantastic background work where it's more the idea of, at least in his early work, is atmosphere. It's more about atmosphere and building a sense of the place that you're in, and that's he was an architectural student, and so his background detail is amazing, fantastic. Some of the most beautiful art I've ever seen. And Oda specifically is the one on a weekly schedule, and I can't fathom how he does that. in 7 days, and it comes out and it's highly detailed, and then you've got like Blue Exorcist, which is on a monthly publication schedule, and the artist frequently publishes blank panels or like low detail sketches that get filled in for the volume release later. I'm like, how do you do it, you absolute psychopath? Like,
it's not. It kind of reminds me of when we were in the YouTube days of once a day upload. Yeah, maybe twice.
Two uploads a day. Yeah, like that was frequent. That was common at one point.
Yeah, especially like in the gaming community, and even like finally we're reaching a point where we can realize talented people need breaks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're gonna die.
I will say within the gaming community, that multiple uploads a day is like the only one where it makes sense, because you can record 8 hours of gameplay footage and then just cut it into 20 minutes a piece, and then you've got you know, however many videos.
Sort of similar to what we do. Obviously we don't really upload every single day, but like we record in like blocks.
Yes, we record a month's worth of episodes in a single recording session.
Which is why it's hard for us to do topical stuff sometimes.
Yeah, there is a topic I really want to talk about, but like by the time this comes out, it's going to be like a month, 2 months out of date.
Yeah.
No, I think like doing mangas, and I don't know how far ahead they are. Let's say they're like, you know, one volume ahead.
They're not.
Not at all. Just publish, work on next. Publish, work on next.
Yeah, there is no room for that.
That's
because they
so
are
unsustainable.
Typically how it works is they publish the one shot and then it's picked up for serialization. So typically they'll then go back and adapt the one shot into like actual chapters for the series, because the one shot will be slightly different. It might not have the same world building.
Be like a pilot.
It's like a pilot, yeah. One Piece has tons of them. There's a whole volume that's been released. I mean, it was released ages ago in Japan, but we recently got it here in the English sphere, called Wanted, which is a bunch of different one shots that convey the idea of One Piece. I keep bringing up One Piece. Anyway. And so then they're picked up for serialization. They confer with the editor about what they're wanting, the story, the thing they're wanting to tell, and they'll begin drawing it. Then it's published, and they have to go on like a weekly schedule because they aren't afforded the time to build up a backlog of stuff, because the magazine needs to fill the pages, because that's the thing with weekly serialization. We here in the West kind of think of it as we go on the Shonen Jump app every week on a Sunday or a Monday or whatever, and One Piece is available, and so is a number of other ones that I don't know what's currently publishing. I give a shit, but at the same time, there's so many. I don't care.
There's too many.
There's too many.
Oversaturation, you're never going to be able to like dedicate the time.
100%. And so we think of it like that. However, in Japan, it's an actual physical magazine called Weekly Shonen Jump that you go and you buy off the store, and it's like it's thick. It's like 400 or 500 pages. I think, I could be wrong. I've never actually seen one physically in person. I can only guess. That has 10 or 15 different series with a chapter in it from each one. And so those pages need to be filled. They need to decide who is going to be the lead series that week, who's going to get the front, who's going to be on the front cover.
Yeah, who gets cover.
Who gets cover. Who are we interviewing? You need to turn in your author comment of the week that goes at the end. You need to decide what your author image is. So it's all these sort of things that, like, there is no affordability in getting a backlog built up. That's why One Piece at this point is essentially not a weekly manga anymore. It's kind of fortnightly more often than not, because it's like there'll be a chapter, or there'll be 3 chapters, and then there'll be a break, and then there'll be a chapter, then there'll be a break, and then there'll be 2 chapters, and then a break, which, considering One Piece has been running for over 20 years, take a fucking break, Oda. Exactly. I care more about your health because I want to see the end of this series than you fucking dying of a heart attack or something.
I want to see the end of the series before I see the end of you.
Yeah, exactly. And One Piece is like the biggest manga in the world, pretty much. So that's why I kind of keep referring back to this, because that's sort of the best example I can give. It also doesn't help that when it gets adapted into an anime. That anime is then an advertisement for that manga rather than like a property in and of itself, almost. Like One Piece is moving in a different direction now, but like it ran for 400 or 500 episodes and it reached a point where it stopped adapting, say, 3 or 4 chapters an episode, which is roughly what Oshinoko does.
Yeah.
And it had to adapt 1 chapter an episode. So the pacing immediately switched up, changed, slowed down. Then it got to a point where it went on break end of last year for 3 months or whatever. By that point, for roughly 300 episodes, it had been pages an episode, not chapters, like pages, and there's only 20 pages in a chapter, so you're adapting 4 or 5 pages just to eke out and not catch up, not to overtake, because they don't want to do filler. Naruto infamously did filler, and it's like 60 or is it 40% filler, 60% actual story, or like the other way around. It's like insane. Bleach did the same thing, and these ones that do filler kind of killed it off. And then My Hero Academia kind of came in back in 2015 and set the precedent now of like seasonal. You do 1 season, you go on a break, next year you come back, you do season 2, you go on a break, you come back the next year, and so there's always like you're catching up, but on a much different, slower,
healthier.
Yes,
once again,
exactly. More sustainable.
Yeah, so My Hero Academia is now finished in manga form, but the final season doesn't come out until this year, and it's been finished for over a year now. Whereas normally you're talking about like the manga's finished, the anime is going to be wrapping up in a couple of months. Is how it used to work.
I hope they kind of take note from what Western culture is now finally doing, where we're like, it's good to value your mental health first. Your physical health comes before your art, because if you're not at the top of your game, you're not creating good art.
Yeah, exactly.
And just give people a fucking break. Humans need breaks.
Let the people breathe.
Yes.
I mean, I can't count how many major series within the last 5 years have gone on like an extended break.
Good.
Like Black Clover did it, and then transitioned to a completely different magazine that was monthly. It went from weekly, hit a point where the manga author just, I guess, went, I can't do this.
Fuck this.
And then transitioned into a monthly thing. And, well, I think Jujutsu Kaisen went on hiatus, but also Jujutsu Kaisen's now finished. But that's a big thing about Shonen Jump now, is that, like, it's not a recognisable thing to a lot of people now, because, well, Bleach is no longer in it. That's not been in it for a long time. But Dragon Ball's on hiatus because obviously Akira Toriyama died, and even though it was someone else writing it now, they're not sure what to do.
Absolutely.
Boruto is in a different magazine that's actually published online on Ultra Jump, because it's monthly. Naruto obviously finished years and years ago. One Piece is the only thing
that's
still running in it that I think has a lot of name recognition. Spy Family runs in it, but that's a comedy series on a different level.
Not the same.
So it's an interesting thing. The industry's in a really interesting position where it's starting to move into a kind of, I don't want to say healthier, better place-ish, because you still have studios like MAPPA where it's like, just
go,
stop.
The exact opposite.
Stop making so many shows, because yes, Jujutsu Kaisen is on like a, not even like a seasonal basis. Like, I don't know when season 3's coming out, but you're still making like 4 shows a season. Your animators don't have enough time. And then you've got like manga artists taking breaks, and like obviously Jump's in a new era, so it's interesting. And I guess that's an interesting part of Oshinoko, is that it lets you reflect on the industry a little bit.
Absolutely.
And I did not think I was going to be talking about this when I was watching those episodes.
No, I think it's a nice kind of side thing, because me and Shaun aren't as familiar with manga, and I think it was such a nice showcasing, because we have the one episode that really focused on writer girl, and
wish we knew her name.
Wish knew your name.
Akibo Saijima.
That one, writer girl. like she is just overworked at home, and her manager comes and is like, "I'm gonna take some of this off your shoulders."
That's not her manager.
No,
that's just
That's her friend. She writes
Oh,
Sweet Today.
Yes, she was like her assistant. Like the writer girl was her assistant.
Was her assistant.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then she got her own manga off script. That became
Which
a weekly.
again is very
That's
very
great,
common.
yeah.
Because Masashi Kishimoto, who wrote Naruto, was at one point an assistant to Ichiro Oda on One Piece.
Nice.
So yeah, there's a lot of that sort of stuff, and I believe Oda at one point worked with Leiji Matsumoto, one of the older, bigger kind of,
Because I really love the scene where the Sweet Today lady just sits down and they're still arguing while they're actively like working together. Like, you son of a bitch!
I love that it's in the opening as well, where like there's the shot of like writer girl is turning around and she's like pissed.
Yeah.
I love that shot. I don't know why, but like that whole episode was great.
Absolutely.
Just seeing like writer girl who starts off as very quiet and stuff, and then when she takes like the breaks off, she is insane.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Which, very real.
Yeah. The creative mind,
it's beautiful.
I've interacted with those kind of people. I've been that kind of person before.
Yeah. I feel like anyone can be that person with the right project.
Oh, for
Absolutely.
sure.
Yeah. God.
Especially if it's a project that has high expectations as well, because like her manga got popular very quickly, didn't it?
Yes.
And she's got so much expectations like put on her like so fast. Like I'm not surprised she became so very, not just full of herself, but very much cracking under pressure.
Yeah.
To the point where like by the end of that episode they're both on the floor and they're still like half arguing.
Yeah. I also gotta give props to her. Like, there's not many, when it comes to shonen anyway, not many female manga authors in the space.
Yeah.
So, especially for a big property like what Tokyo Blade is in that sense. But yeah, no, it's an interesting insight into that industry, even just like a small glimpse like that. And I'm also was watching that episode like, girl, just go digital.
Yeah.
Stop. No one has done ink on paper and screen toning on paper in years. Just get a fucking tablet and draw it on photo, or is it Canva? No, not Canva.
Whatever.
Procreate or whatever the thing is for
Don't
that.
give me any of that bullshit. It doesn't have the soul or anything. Fuck that. Just it's easier. Do it. And if
Stop
you do it
being a
right,
snob.
most people aren't gonna fucking care.
Just go looking for the right brush preset. Like that's all you need to do.
You can get the shading right and everything. It's fine.
It makes screen toning so much easier.
Aqua's, I think, emotional arc is something we're talking about.
Yes.
Because I think it kind of started when he had his first panic attack. Or I don't know what kind. And we finally get the comeback of director guy.
Yeah.
Whatever his name is.
Gotanda.
That guy.
Literally every character just calls him the director.
Yeah.
He's not even directing anything right now.
He's just kind of chilling.
I like how he keeps saying like, oh, I'm still working, and like no one seems to know what he's
cares.
No one cares. He's
working up in the brain.
Kana has no idea what he's working on.
No.
I genuinely laughed out a little bit. I'm not sure how intentional it was. We're like Ruby and oh my god, I forgot her name. The CEO.
Other girl.
Yeah, CEO wife, who is the actual CEO now.
Oh shit.
Because they just call her CEO.
Mom
now.
lady.
Yeah. Mama.
Chacho. Because boss, CEO. That's just what they call
I'm
her.
just gonna call her boss.
Yeah.
But like Boss and Ruby are just like sitting in like the audience, and like they see the director and they just call him, oh, there's the director.
Yeah.
They don't call him by an actual name, they just know him as director. I thought that was really funny.
Director.
Oh look, it's director.
Yeah, I do feel bad for the director that he's just kind of always left to pick up the pieces of Aqua.
Yeah.
He's
Or-
basically
he's
the
used to
surrogate.
it.
He's basically
Yeah.
the surrogate dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, like fucking Akane just brings Aqua over. He's like, I don't know what fucking happened. He's like, he does this sometimes,
This
like
is- this
PTSD
happens.
and whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
Put him in the
what?
bed.
Just let him snooze it out. We'll be alright in a couple minutes. And I like the visualization of Aqua's trauma.
Yes. With Goro sort of like manifesting as like an evil spirit almost.
Yeah.
And I think that's interesting considering the overarching theme and where things go later. And this happens in the manga too. Slightly confusing visual imagery later where it turns into child Aqua.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because
I get it. I get what they're going for, but at the same time,
the
like,
intent and the messaging, yeah, but it's like,
given that there is like they're clearly indicating there's two different personalities at operation within Aqua, where like you've got Goro, the older person who still resents what happened to Ai, and then you've got Aqua who's unsure because he's literally having an identity crisis.
and he is still an actual child.
Yeah, he's still an actual teenager who's going through it, hormones and everything like that. So I get what they're going for, and I get I get that it is childhood trauma. That is what he's going through.
Absolutely, yeah.
But to morph the apparition of Goro into child Aqua.
It just reminds me of the one thing I don't like about this show, where
the reincarnated.
yes, like when I saw that, I was just like, ah, fuck, this is still a grown man.
Yeah.
Like grieving the child of his mother, who was a teenager that he was obsessed with as a grown man. When you bring that back into it, you're like, oh, this is creepy. Like it's emotional. It has its depth now. But to just be reminded of that, I was like, oh, I like it less now.
I
think
think
it's a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I would say that, like, at least at this point, there is like a clear distinction of Aqua as Aqua.
Yes.
And Goro is a remnant of some kind.
Yeah, I
absolutely.
think definitely this season, because in last season we still have moments where he was like, yeah, you know, I'm in school, but I done been this.
Yeah.
I've been doing this.
There's a whole thing I just remembered, like rewatching season 1, where it's like Aqua passes like with flying colours to get in like the application thing, and he's just like, well, I went to med school.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a doctor.
Like, I'm a fucking doctor, and they're asking me to do multiplications here.
Yeah.
Like, whoo, what is this?
It's like I just rewatched that first episode, but it was at that moment I was like, oh yeah, he's still an adult in a teenage body.
Yeah, no, I think we have finally kind of settled within it, like the reincarnation thing, where I still think it is weird, yes, and I would have accepted it so much more if they were younger, like Ruby it was, you know what I mean? Because it's the whole grown man, young woman.
It gets a bit weirder later.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
You know, I keep hearing a lot things about how it might get weirder. I don't like that.
Yeah, there's a bit of a mountain to climb before it gets to the end. Certainly at the point where I stopped reading, partially why I didn't want to pick it back up is because there was a big moment where it got really, really weird. And I was like, oh, okay, I don't know if I like where this is, the direction of this is going. And I want to say, it moves past it, it goes beyond it, and it ignores it eventually. You just need to get through it because it did need to register this at some point.
I'm not saying anything, but I feel like I have an idea on what that could be at this point, because I keep hearing...
I mean, at some point...
reading, like, some... Not like a spoiler, but like...
I guess it's not a spoiler to say that at some point the series needs to recognise that both Aqua and Ruby are reincarnated people, and that they knew each other in their previous lives, and that at some point that needs to become a revelation between the two of them.
Yes.
Like, that happens. I will say that happens.
Well,
that's not a spoiler.
No, of course.
That's the point where it starts to get a bit strange for a little bit.
Okay.
And it does it in a really weird way.
Okay. Well, we'll unpack them when we get there.
There is a lot to unpack when we get to that point.
We're not there yet.
No.
But that is the thing, is like, that's the point that bugged me about that, is because it's like we're moving past it. They're both becoming people in and of themselves as Aqua and Ruby, despite carrying the remnants of their own, past. To then have a weird point of like sort of bringing it back up and making it weird between the two of them for a bit.
Because, again, they threaded nicely. I mean, we only know Aqua's side from this season, really. Because, he is dating.
Yes.
Akane.
Yeah.
And she is
dating,
a child.
Dating, air quotes.
But, like, by the end, it feels like
100%.
they're sort of actually really dating. From what we've, like... I mean, it feels like it's getting closer to that.
I know where it's going, so...
Yeah.
I know you do know where it's going, but, like, when Akane
He's
finds
getting
out...
closer to the idea of, maybe I do like you, which is the whole thing.
Here's the thing.
I'm getting from Akane's side, sorry to cut you off, but like, it's when she figures out the whole backstory, because she's a fucking detective.
Yeah.
It's when she's like, okay, I feel like I actually do like you at this point.
Yeah.
thing is, Aqua's already acknowledged that he doesn't like Akane in a romantic sense because he's acknowledged very subtly his romantic feelings for someone else.
Yeah.
Which is Kana.
Yeah.
So there's that to contend with.
And Kana's very subtle about her attraction to Aqua.
Subtle as a fucking hammer.
Well, they're dating each other. They're only dating in a work sense.
It's like work. It's like they're co-workers.
It's in a work. It's just like a dramatic zoom in, dead eyes. It's only in a work sense.
Enemies to haters. You've got to love it.
It's strictly business.
Perfect.
Yeah, and I'm happy that both of them are just kind of easy with it.
Yeah.
Like, it is just business. Because if Aqua was like, yes, teenage girlfriend.
Oh god.
I mean, just like, I made a note of like, oh, Ruby dropping it. She could never be fucking pregnant. Don't my virgin ass brother. Nah.
No way. It's funny because the whole point behind that line is like, she knows and he knows the past. Yeah. That's the reason. But like at the same time she's calling him a fucking virgin.
Yeah.
Because that whole conversation, like from our perspective, it's like, oh well, yeah, they know each other, they've never. But someone on the outside is just like, you were just out. Why do you know your brother this well? This is fucking weird.
That complex is so fucking weird, bro.
Yeah, it goes both ways.
Yeah.
They only refer to Aqua's siscon complex, like sister complex.
Ruby's got a whole thing,
Yeah. Brocon doesn't sound right though.
No. I mean, that moment where she's just like, I would fucking kill him.
Yeah.
Like, to everyone else in like that scene, they gotta be like, oh, that's a strong reaction.
Yeah.
I really like the Kana Akane like dynamic. In some moments I think it's 100% nice, feels lovely. Yeah. There's some moments where I'm like, but I love when in the episode where I don't think they're necessarily talking about their rivalry, but Kana just brings up, I read the magazine article. You fucking love me. Yeah. You looked up to it. I'm your idol. You love me.
That feels like that's the scene you can only have on people who are like straight up enemies with each other or like really good friends. Yeah. And somehow it feels like they're both.
For sure.
I love that dynamic of them challenging each other. Is what makes them both enemies and friends.
Yes, 100%.
It's that type of friend where you're like, I fucking hate your guts, but if you don't show up to work tomorrow, I'm gonna be so fucking
yeah.
Like, I hate you, but I need you to challenge me to do better.
Because like Akane's whole thing is like bringing out the
little shit in Kana.
Yeah, the proper actress within her, and not this timid ass bitch.
Well, who's had to shift like her whole like.
She didn't need to.
Well, I mean, she really in the arrogant sense, she had to just to survive the industry.
She could have been nicer as a person, sure, but she didn't need to be nicer as an actor.
Yeah, but they're sort of interlinked, I feel, for Kana, and I feel like Akane's trying to bring out the little shit.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Like, give me a fight in terms of like performances.
Yeah, like cry, but
it does extend a little bit into a thing I kind of have. Everybody kind of knows each other in the sense of you meet a new character and then 5 minutes later they're like, oh, I remember we worked together years ago when we were kids, and it's like, can we stop this?
I did have a moment where like when it's revealed that like Akane and Kana knew each other when they were kids, I was like, wow, this did not feel like it was set up at all in season 1.
Yeah, no,
I would never have guessed these two characters knew each other in any way.
That's it. It kind of comes out of nowhere for Akane because we already know Akane by that point. We've seen her in Sweet Today, her get to know Aqua, and like she kind of knows that he's friends with Kana because obviously they start dating, quote unquote, outside of it, and obviously then Bikomachi comes a thing, and Kana's in Bikomachi with Ruby, who is Aqua's sister.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so she knows, and yet there's no indication that she knows Kana.
Like, they have that little rivalry like scene in like near the end of season 1, but even that doesn't feel like they knew each other.
No, because that's only set up as like they're both interested in the same guy.
Yeah, it's pure like a love triangle thing, and not like, oh, you're my arch nemesis.
Yeah, it's weird.
Comes out of nowhere, but I do think it improves like the whole dynamic of this season. Like as a whole, so it's like a give and take thing.
Yeah.
Because, y'all know I'm a sucker for a depressed person in an industry.
Yeah, you really
Yeah,
are.
you are. That's your.
It's unfortunately, it's my thing. So when
Who are you in the artwork again for the show?
like when we had the episode where we, kind of talked about, at some point I was failed actors. It was just my mom who wanted me to do this, and she was getting desperate as fuck. And then my dad left. I'm like, oh, I'm way too into this. This is fucking great. Yes.
Concerningly into this.
Yes, feel like shit. That's what the industry
Damn
does
bad
to you.
for tragic backstory.
Only in the industry.
Only in the industry.
Yeah, no, I'm very specific about that.
That's when it becomes your niche.
That's a child.
It's animated.
Wow! Yeah, any other time I say that,
real.
you've got some bullshit to say.
Fuck 'em, they ain't real.
They ain't fucking real. It's all in your head, bro.
She's a drawing.
But yeah, that little thing, it just hits my little
Yeah, it's your little weird niche.
Little brain cells.
My little brain cells just get, ooh. What's this? A good thing? No.
Oh, you're gonna love when we get to the point of them making the movie.
They're making a movie.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We
This
talked
is
about
another
that a
thing I
little
need to. Yeah. So going back to season 1, I brought this up when we talked about it in the episode. So I've read the manga. That was how I found out about Oshinoko and why we ended up watching the show.
Yeah.
In the first volume of the manga, which is the first episode of this show, there are interstitial sequences in between each chapter.
I remember you mentioning this now. Yes.
Which set up the fact that they're making a movie about Ai's life with Aqua Ruby, director Gotanda, and a bunch of other people. And this is the weird part that we come to. Because rewatching it, I remembered, because I had just finished reading the manga, and the manga kind of ends soon after that story arc, there's no setup for this movie arc now, which is the next season.
Yeah.
And the stuff that happens in those interstitial chapters ties into something that's going to happen at the end of that story arc.
We don't have that anymore.
We don't have that.
We're not there yet.
We're not there yet. But lacking that, lacks a kind of setup and drive for the series where,
It
like,
does, you're right.
Aqua always talks about getting his revenge, but you kind of, it's only, like, really given the through line by knowing that this movie arc thing's coming. That they're going to make a movie about Ai's life, that it's about the lie, because it's called the 15-year lie, which is, again, set up in this prologue, so it's not a spoiler. That's the interesting thing, is like we're lacking that. So what the fuck? Yeah, I don't know where they're gonna go with that.
Yeah, I hope they don't pull the same thing they did in season 1, where at the end they were like, if you want to find out more, you're gonna have through this side quest.
Yeah.
Which
answer these riddles 3.
I feel like, because they set up the stage play end of season 1, they're like, if you want to know more about me, about your mom from me, you have to do this. Which they then never really... No. At the end, we'll talk about the big cliffhanger, I suppose.
Well, his thing is, like, she went to theatre La La La, and then it's like the only reason Aqua takes on the stage play is because La 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 is producing that. I think it's a bit unclear.
Yes.
Producing, like, having actors there.
Yeah, which, like, the whole setup of it's really strange, but, like, that's besides the point, I guess.
Gotta get that story somehow.
Yeah. And so it's like, I've lost my train of thought. Jesus Christ.
The reveal.
Yeah. The whole side quest thing, where it's like, and I think that's gonna kind of make the movie almost feel like a side quest.
I think so, because I think they'll try and do it the same way.
Yeah, because it's like, if you read the manga and you see these interstitial chapters, you kind of know that that's the goal.
That's where you're going.
That's the main quest.
Yeah.
Here it's gonna be another side quest.
I'm fucking calling it end of season 1. I need to know more about what you know about my mother. I was like, well, I'll tell you everything you want to know if you do this movie with me.
You gotta give me something first.
Well, the thing
it's
is,
not
is
as
like,
bad as you sound.
Aqua writes the movie.
Oh.
So there's also been no, like,
mention that he wants to write.
Yeah,
I was gonna say he's a writer.
Exactly. Again, this is all stuff that, like, you get seeded to you at the start of the series. So it's
So we don't know if it'll stick the landing yet.
Yeah.
Because, okay.
In the animated form, I think it's going to have some struggle correcting, omitting that.
Yeah.
Because, like, given the length of the first episode, they could have done little bits of scenes like that. Because there's certainly things that they could have trimmed in the first episode.
Yeah.
True that.
Oh, yeah.
Looking back, I was like, wow, we really didn't need this, did
No.
we?
Like, I get them wanting to adapt the whole first volume in the first episode because, like, that's the prologue, that's the setup. You don't really want to spend, like, 3 weeks
On setup.
on setup.
On
your batshit crazy inciting incidents.
Yeah.
No, or even just at the hospital with pre-Aqua Doctor.
Yeah, because like the
Yeah.
first episode would have ended with like him getting killed. Like that would have been the end of the first episode had they done it as normal 23-minute episodes. And then the next episode would have been them being reborn as Ai's kids. And then it would have stopped like somewhere randomly in the middle of like the height of her idol
in the middle of them
career.
intimidating the CEO's wife.
Probably, yeah. And so, yeah, it wouldn't have drawn audiences in,
No.
I don't think. But they could have done the little interstitial chapters to better set up things that happen in the future, imminently,
Fast
for
approaching.
us. Yeah, 2026? Yeah, next year. But yeah, the actual reveal that Taiki Himikawa, who we barely know.
Who we just know as he's a good actor, but he's also just kind of there.
Yeah.
He's just sort of silently there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much like Aqua, only we're not in his head, so we don't really care.
He is half brother to Aqua and Ruby.
They have
They
the
share
same-
a father.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, we legit end with, I think, Aqua asking him, tell me everything you know about your father or something. Which I'm going to assume next episode is then, oh, I don't know.
Not much.
I don't know who he is,
I
actually.
mean, he said he's already said that he was in like a children's home. For
Oh,
like a
yeah,
while.
yeah.
yeah.
He's been
He
very
doesn't
much
even
abandoned.
know.
I
Looking at you expectantly.
Yeah,
because
we're all
you
just
know.
like, explain.
I can really remember where this arc goes.
Well,
If
that's a
only,
good sign.
No, if only because I've just recently read the end of the movie arc, which goes into more detail about
Yeah.
the stuff to do with Taiki's past. I may get events confused, and stuff that's revealed later is stuff I'm thinking of that might, I don't know. I can't. My hands are tied. I can't say anything because it would.
You
Just get like tape on your mouth.
Yeah. I genuinely can't remember how this part of the story goes, because it's all replaced with events that eventually get revealed later.
Okay.
Because I felt like there was such potential in the final episode we watched, episode 10, 20? I mean, what was it? 20 if you count consecutively.
Yeah,
Whatever.
episode 9 if you're counting like just the season.
Yeah.
Which is what normally happens, but apparently they're just
Oh, that's
continuous
fucking
counting.
time.
Yeah. Like, you know, it's Aqua and
Taiki.
They're in a bar. They're both underage.
No, Taiki's
Oh, Taiki's
20.
Okay,
Yeah.
20. And the guy that we want information
Yes.
from, who is just getting so drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're like, this is the perfect moment, Aqua. You should
Yeah.
get some info. Nope.
Absolutely.
No, he
not.
passes out.
Yeah, no, he just passes out. We're like, oh. There we go. I mean, I do love actor bars where everyone who works there is failed actor, aspiring actor.
10,000 Instagram followers.
Yeah,
What apparently is pointed out to us for some reason.
Yeah, no,
Very
I
important
think.
information.
Yeah.
I mean, Taiki has this whole superiority complex. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you know, we can't do anything in this industry.
I mean, he's not wrong when it comes to the
100%.
Japanese side of stuff. And like, I mean, it's sort of the same here, but even more so in Japan. Like, even one small slip is enough for them to like pounce on you. So, okay, that did not come out properly. In Japan, they will pounce on you for the smallest little thing.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna
Japounce.
be laughing at Japounce for a while.
I'm so tired, guys.
This is our first episode of the day.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was. I think it was definitely an interesting arc, and I'm happy that we kind of watched it, the full rounding of it.
Yeah.
Instead of just chopping the season in half and seeing what happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm.
Oh,
very
it would have
curious.
sucked to have stopped at like episode 6 or 7.
Oh yeah, you're in the middle of it.
Yeah, Act 2 of Stellar Blade, that's completely different. That's a game.
yeah.
Tokyo Blade, I would have been livid.
And I'm excited to see where Bikomachi is gonna go.
Yeah.
Probably making YouTube videos with Buff Penguin looking. No,
Peon.
Buff Peon.
That
That
guy.
one, that guy.
I don't know if they're gonna be coming back, like if they're gonna be like plot important for this next arc. I can't remember. Genuinely don't remember which story arc is next.
I mean,
great.
he was mentioned once, I think.
Peon again ties into this interesting thing of loads of characters are introduced. I don't think he ever gets brought up again.
Oh,
after-
motherfucker.
Yeah.
He is the best part of
I was
season
watching
one.
season 1 and went, oh yeah, you never come up.
It's funny.
after this.
I had a moment where like it's right when like rewatching season 1, just like at the start of Ruby's like whole I want to be an idol like story gets going. I just had a sudden violent memory flash of Peon. And I was like, oh god, Birdman. Birdman's gonna pop up. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna miss him.
I am.
The only thing I'm gonna
100%.
miss is the random Peon sound.
Yeah.
Whenever like they mention like a brand or something.
Peon.
I hope we get to see some more performances from Bikomachi. And like as fun as we're gonna do a YouTube video, it feels a little too real.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just a bit.
I will say, and again, we've not watched the full season yet. We've still got like 4 episodes left.
5. No, 4 now. Yeah,
Yeah,
because we watched
4.
an
Yeah.
extra episode.
Don't question me. But I know Aqua's the main character, but there were multiple times throughout this I was like, are we not going to get back to Ruby's plotline at some point soon?
Yeah.
Because I like her as a character.
Yeah.
And I like her whole dynamic with Mem and Kana. I am pronouncing that right, Mem. For, like,
Yeah, Memcho. So yeah,
Yeah.
Mem.
I am interested in her, and we ended like the last season with that story, so I'm wondering like hopefully the next few episodes will like,
Yeah.
focus more on that because I like that storyline. I like Ruby as a character. I want to see more of her.
Yeah, I know there's definitely a part where like they record some songs or something, but I'm not 100% sure.
Oh, have to wait and see.
Yeah,
You sound so excited.
I am.
Soon-ish. Fuck knows when we're
Next
gonna watch.
month.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, probably in a couple of weeks, because you were like, oh yeah, I'm free at the first week.
Don't ruin the magic. I'm talking about our scheduling.
So yeah, anyone got anything else they want to say? Because I don't think this episode is actually a full hour yet.
Green haired boy is a dick. That's it.
Oh yeah, him. He's like
Green.
kind of set up as being important, and then he's just not.
He's literally just a douche. That's his entire character.
He's the guy who's like a mainstay of La La La. No, he's a mainstay of 2.5D plays, and then he tries to get the model's number from school,
Yes.
and then he gets Ruby's number instead.
Which I really like that Kana immediately saw through all this and was like, I'm blocking this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
But-
she has the experience of.
Yeah, I was terrified we were gonna get like a whole mini plot line about that, and it was, and like Ruby learned to like not trust like
Men.
those kind of
Yeah, don't
those
trust
kind of
men.
guys.
Yeah,
Not just men in general, yeah.
especially men in the entertainment industry.
Absolutely, but like Kana just came in and was like, no, I'm shutting this down now.
Yeah.
I'm shutting.
I was just like, oh thank God.
Yeah, like I totally forgot that happened, and it just begs the question: what the fuck was the point of that then?
Yeah.
Well, his character really only existed like further Melt's whole thing.
Pretty much, like he was Melt's antagonist in
Yeah.
this story, and really that whole interaction only served to like have Ruby around for a bit.
Hey, look
Yeah.
who's there!
Yeah, she.
Hey, you remember her?
Don't forget about her. She
We'll
isn't.
come back to her. We'll get there.
I'm trying not to, but God, show it really seems like you want me to sometimes.
That's the interesting thing is like Ruby is super important, but equally like Aqua is the main character,
Yeah.
undeniably. And I think that
Yeah.
leads to a weird balancing issue with her characterization at some points.
I can definitely see that, yeah, because we have Aqua who has just a more interesting concept of character.
Yes.
He's a grown man and a teenager compared to a teenager and a teenager.
Yeah, somewhat like Aqua's story is interesting, don't get me wrong. However, it is very done before.
I
like
can imagine.
someone who has been a shut-in or has otherwise been bound by some uncontrollable force now has to, you know, reckon with the fact she can just do other things.
Yeah. And we had that a little
And
bit
she's also immensely talented to boot, and it's like, okay, yeah, that's
Oh, must be nice.
upended the interest that I had.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We had that like a little bit in season 1 with like the whole her learning to dance thing.
Yeah.
Because like I teaches her and she's like really good at it. But like, yeah, we don't really get any more in that because it and I wanted to bring this up earlier and I'm just now remembering. She feels a lot more like Ruby and what was her name before she died?
Sarana.
Sarana are like very, I mean they're the same but like very different characters as well. Like they're a lot different personality wise, so they feel a lot more separate than even Aqua and Dr. Man.
Yeah, Goro.
Dr. Man.
Man doctor.
Mr. Doctor. It's strange, maybe. Who am I to judge?
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, they feel Ruby and her past life feel a lot different than even Aqua and his past life.
Yeah.
Is what my point was.
Yeah, no, definitely true, but
So I guess that makes her less interesting to
Yeah.
like, dive
Yeah.
into, but still at the same time I like her as a character and I'd like to see her story more, please.
Yeah.
because I think I'm just more interested in her story as like an idol than I am in Aqua becoming an actor, because he is so against it.
Yeah.
We're just kind of watching it. We're more living for the other characters around him fulfilling their dreams than for him, because he doesn't want to be there.
I think that's actually kind of what makes Aqua kind of interesting, is that he's actually better at doing what Kana tries to do than Kana is. And that's interesting, and why he maybe shouldn't be an actor but should be like a director instead.
Yeah.
Or maybe a writer.
Well, yeah, it does go that direction. But yeah, I'm kind of sad they never took it in the direction of him like actually like directing, because I think that's more what he is skilled towards.
No, I definitely agree. Like, if we had a moment of him kind of, you know, working with Akana, being like, hey, why don't you do this? I think if you do it like this,
Yeah.
let me help you
Because
with
he kind of
this."
gives directions to almost everybody at some point.
Yeah. But I feel like we can hone in on it so much
Yeah.
more.
Uh-huh.
Like, maybe it becomes a bit too obvious and cheesy, but then at least we get the, okay, he doesn't like acting, but he likes his world.
Yes.
And he wants to be in it. Because now
he
we're
likes
just,
the art of acting, but it doesn't like acting in and of itself.
Yeah.
I mean, by the end of these episodes, he's actively trying to make acting like a suffering thing for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like putting himself through too much.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Take a break.
Yeah.
This ain't healthy.
This ain't fucking healthy.
Yeah, it's one of the interesting things of them not like fully decoupling the personalities yet. And I think becomes a bit of a frustrating thing
Yeah.
for a bit. For me anyway. Like I find this whole idea of him like still clinging on to Goro annoying.
Fucking stop.
It's like you've had 15 years
At this point. yeah.
like you lived longer as Goro, but you've lived long enough as Aqua at this point
Let the past die.
yeah, like still want to seek revenge for Ai if you want to.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
on, that's your pejorative.
But do it because she was your mother.
But do it because she was your
Yeah.
mother and not because you are Goro. Like that
Exactly.
ultimately is my kind of like.
Yeah.
It's this thing where it's like Aqua makes progress, and then Goro comes back and fucking puts a brick wall up, and I'm like, I get what you're doing, but at the same time,
Stop it.
this isn't actually why anybody's watching or reading anymore.
Yeah.
You've spent so much time with Aqua and Ruby that we care more about them than Goro's vendetta.
Yeah.
They started the show as just like Aqua and Ruby as just hyper intelligent babies that just grew up and that
Look
was
who's talking.
Still.
No, that's what I mean. Like the movie. Look who's talking.
Oh yeah. Sorry, the way you said that, I was just like, what do you mean by that?
No. Look who's talking. The movie
Yeah.
with the hyper intelligent babies that can talk to each other but not other people. It's a weird movie.
Stewie
seen
from
it.
Family
Oh,
Guy.
it's very
Stewie
strange.
Make him Stewie
Stewie
from Family Guy.
Family Guy.
Yeah, that's what they should have done.
Yeah.
Like this, I feel like the show would have still, or the manga would have still taken off. And
Yeah.
we wouldn't have any of, because it does feel like the whole past lives thing feels a lot more like a chain.
Yeah,
anything
it
else.
is. Uh-huh.
And I know that's the point in like these episodes, like you just said, but you don't need them.
Yeah.
You don't need them. You don't need them. You don't need them.
Sorry, I'm just thinking of a fucking moment from one of the Snapcube videos. I'm just now picturing I introducing Aqua and Ruby and going, "This is I'm I the idol. Here is Ruby, an adorable little child, and here is my overly verbose child."
It's my overly verbose child.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I think we're scraping the barrel now.
I mean, one final point is a quote that Kana brings up in the last episode we watched that I think is a fun little thing to talk about, is that she said actors should be considered writers because they bring the words to life.
Was this when she was getting drunk on ginger ale?
Oh yeah.
I believe so. I don't want to say any film I've seen or like short films written by students who are actors has been a fucking shit show.
Yeah.
I just took that as the ginger ale talking.
It
Yeah.
takes a good actor to ad-lib
Yes.
and create something genuinely good.
Mm-hmm.
Did they write the rest of the dialogue? No.
I'm gonna be completely honest in the context of that scene, because that's like right after like the play is finished, like or like their first run of the play is done, because they're gonna have to do that for like another month. But we're not gonna see that.
No.
But I sort of took that as a little hint of like just sort of poking fun at how much they had ad-libbed and how much of their story had sort of impacted the play at that front. So it was like, yeah, you understand it like that in that context why she's saying that, but that's still fucking stupid.
Yeah, but then the ad-libbing they did was kind of shit though.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yes.
so
Yes.
Yeah, but the show wants you to believe it was great.
like even watching them, like, man, too many beats have passed. Like, I
Yeah.
understand we're hearing someone's internal monologue and you're meant to understand that time is frozen outside of this.
course.
But Aqua and Kana are staring in each other's eyes and the audience are just watching this as beats pass and pass and pass.
I did have
Did they
this
forget
moment.
their lines?
I did have this moment where like it's in the middle of like their JoJo-esque monologue to each other in their performance battle, and I'm just like, in my head I know this is happening in like the span of a second. They're not actually talking to each other really. They're just predicting what the other is saying in their mind in that stupid thing they do.
Yeah.
But in my mind I can just hear the audience going, "You've been staring at each other for half an hour. Do something."
Watch out. That's it. That's
play,
my ad-lib.
the play ended 10 minutes ago. Get the fuck off stage.
He moved her a little to the right.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Amazing.
Revolutionary.
Yeah, I wanted to believe that her saying that was just the show poking fun at its own stupidity for
Yeah.
a second.
Yeah, I fucking hope so. I mean,
That's
I do
how I
think
took
so.
I mean, she got drunk on ginger ale, so you know.
Yeah.
I love that arrow saying ginger ale
Yeah,
stays
because
there
like
for a
it's
long time.
it starts as like a close up on her, and she's very clearly drunk and talking, and I was like, she is not
Old
legal.
enough.
It zooms out, ginger ale. Ah, okay.
She is not old enough to drink, and she is not wild enough to start drinking underage.
The show's like, we, show a lot of things. This is not underage drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's not gonna shit the fuck out of some old guys.
No, come on.
So that's a reference to a line way earlier.
Wow, no, I
Do you
don't remember.
remember the part where Raida, the weird guy with two-toned hair, is talking to the author in the room, and he's like, I don't mind fucking the shit out of some old guys, but it like bleeps the fuck and the shit.
Oh, yeah.
I had to pause, rewind, and take a screenshot.
He's gonna shit the fuck out.
He's
of
gonna
those
shit the
guys.
fuck out of some old guys.
Yeah, I think, because was it censored in the...
It's censored.
Yeah,
in the-
that's why.
Yeah.
That's why. When you sent it to me, I was like, "Oh my god, he's gonna shit the fuck out of those guys."
That was
Yeah.
why I had to like rewind and be like, wait, what? I didn't
doesn't
read
make
the
sense.
subtitles fast enough. What the fuck?
I completely forgot about that,
Yeah.
but I was also like, they do that? They curse here? I forgot. For a normal PG-esque show.
But yeah, in
Yeah.
that scene, that's just kind of like running off of so much sleep deprivation.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a show. That is a show to perform.
Yeah, 2
Yeah.
full hours.
And she's gonna be doing that for a month straight.
Yeah. With wire work.
Good luck with the idol stuff.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, she's got to go and film a YouTube video.
Yeah, she's got
Hey, guys!
She's just lying on a couch.
like dead Shane.
Yeah, no, that girl's too busy. Yeah, I think the overall message we can all say from this episode is, people, take breaks.
Yeah.
You deserve
Crunch
them.
culture should die.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
That's the message.
Yeah.
Overworking yourself is not doing people any favors.
No.
Especially yourself. So don't do it.
You will be healthy and you will be happy.
Yes, we value quality work that you made while happy more than miserable work that you made while miserable.
Yes.
You will live
Thank
and
you.
you will be happy.
Yes.
So this is our demand. Be happy.
Yes. And don't shit the fuck out of some people you don't need to.
Yeah.
No.
Ask first if they want the fuck shit out of them. That's where we're ending.
This is our
the
first episode and we're slowly losing our minds.
Oh,
I've not even had a
fantastic.
monster yet.
You're not getting monster.
No, you
I know.
aren't getting one.
I know.
Anyway, thank you for listening to this episode of Anime Lane. We will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
I want a monster.
Mm-mm.
You don't get one.
Mm-mm.